A blessed morning to you, Ma'am Javet Villanueva. Before I formally start, I hope you're safe and healthy despite of everything in the world happening right now. So let me introduce myself. My name is Presciel Monling. I am 24 years old and I am a mom and I live in Barangay San Francisco, Agusan del Sur. So, this video, I will share my acquiring new knowledge about our subject, purposive communication. So, what is purposive communication? For me, purposive communication is vital, important. Why? Because having conversation is useless without a purpose. That is why called purposive communication, meaning you have to have a communication that is purpose. For be able to have a successful purposive communication, we must acknowledge the different kinds of model of communication, um, communication process, and ethics. So first, I will share the different kinds of model. The first, to begin with, Aristotle model communication. So, Aristotle model communication is considered as the first model of communication. Is this model concentrated predominantly on the speaker and the speaker and the audience. So this model have five primary elements, which are the the speaker, the speech, the occasion, audience, and effect. So the main role of this model is the speaker. The speaker have the responsibility to have the audience role its own passive. So next is Osgood and Scrum model of communication. This model is built on the theory that communication is a two-way street, the receiver and the sender. So unlike the Aristotle believed that communication is a two-way street, the receiver and the sender. So unlike the Aristotle believed that communication is a linear communication. So Osgood and Scrum represent that communication is a circular, the receiver and the sender. So Osgood required two participants taking turns sending and receiving the messages. And next is Shannon-Wafer model. So this model is a mathematical theory of communication. They call it also a mother of all models. So the concept of this model is have five primary elements: the sender or the information, encoder or the channel, decoder or the receiver, and receiver distraction and noise. So this model is acknowledging the noise. So what is the noise? What is noise? Noise is a barriers or impediments that can block you to have a successful communication. And the last model communication is Eugene White model. This model is one of the detailed model of communication. It has thinking, symbolizing, expressing, transmitting, receiving, decoding, feedbacking, monitoring. So Eugene White's models tells us that communication is circular and continuous without a beginning and end. He also introduced the concept of feedbacking. So, what are the helps of this different model of communication? Model communication of is identify and help us to able to understand the components and relationship of communication process being studied. So model represents new ideas and thought on various aspects of communication which help us to plan for effective communication system. So the last part of this video is about ethics of communication. In the summary of my learnings, ethics is play vital role of communication. Ethics or ethical communication deals with moral values relating to human conduct with respect to rightness and wrongness of a certain action, and to the goodness and the badness of the motives and end of the action. So, yeah, so just as I said, ethical communication is impasses being honest in all communication. But in terms of honesty, you don't have to say everything that is true, but try not to say something untrue. If you don't want to answer a question or inquiry, it is acceptable to decline answering. It is important to respect the other person through the words that you choose and how you express yourself, such as respectful tone and body languages. So, as I said, truthfulness and honesty is the most core principles of ethic communication. Being honest means communicating what is known to be true to a listener with not intent to receive or present only a part of truth, if it also being object as possible, that is tailoring story based on what's the speaker wants to the listener to believe. So, yeah, that's all. And the end of this lesson, I understand to do have effective communication, you have to carefully choose your words, and especially as a student, we have to carefully choose our words and tone of our voice to have an effective communication.